fuck y'all looking at? Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time you just so happen to tune in, goddammit. What is going on? All right. What is going on? How is it going? Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. You would have thought I was Badlands Chugs up this motherfucker. I'm not. I am not. The Gulper. Whoa, wait a minute. What's going on here? What's going on here? Gulper. What is happening right now? Hey, first and foremost, who started the trend? Let me shut off the goddamn horn. There's no reason for the horn to keep going. Who started the trend of this July 4th hot dog eating competition, bruh? It's getting ridiculous out here. Joey Chestnut done won 16 of the last 17 competitions on July 4th when it comes to consuming glizzies. Do you understand? This man year-round is known for what he does on one day, and that's eat hot dogs. Could you imagine? What do you do for a living? I swallow hot dogs. I swallow glizzies. That's what this man does for a living. Then what was the lady's name? What was it? Glizzy, what do they call her? Glizzy Lizzie? Lizzie the Glizzy? It's getting ridiculous. But Joey Chestnut, damn monster, bruh. 16 or 17 championship. Bill Russell only won 11 out of 13. Joey Chestnut got 5 on him. It's crazy out here. Glizzy Globler, good God. Hot dogs is in his bloodstream. When they do x-rays, you see the hot dogs floating through his bloodstream. It's underneath his epidermis. It's the parts of the rib cage. You know what? That piece of the bone that goes around that covers your lung. His is no longer in part of the bone structure. It's not bone down there no more. It's glizzies. It's hot dogs going across his goddamn lung, creating a rib cage made of hot dogs. It's crazy. It's wild out here. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is I, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis, here in Hold My Nuggets Incorporated in the West Wing and Hold My Nuggets Studios here on July 4th for a special stream. Why? Because I started really thinking, right? Like I stated earlier on in the year, I want to start streaming much more frequently, so we'll test different things out to see how things can play out. On top of that, I got a little bit of a question I'd like to ask the audience because I'd like to get a little bit of input on this decision that I have coming up within the next couple of months. But nevertheless, I'm happy to be here with everybody who is here in the building. What is going on with you guys? Happy 4th to those who celebrate. Happy Whiteenth to the pro-blacks. And moreover, eat a dick to all the firework individuals who do not utilize every piece of fireworks that they have in their repertoire by the conclusion of today. Because let me tell you something. If July 5th continues and we see fireworks in the air, I would like to see somebody dealt with. Do you understand what I'm saying? I want to see somebody's legs broken. I want to see tibias, fibulas, femurs on the ground. And understand that this bat won't be the one that does it. It will be this one. Okay? Hey, batter, swing. I'm just here to do my thing. Hey, batter, swing. I came here to hurt somebody. Somebody's legs will be broken. I don't want to see any more fireworks on Thursday extended to the rest of the week. Somebody's gonna get hurt. Now, this bat is actually made to get some doggone baseballs going. Oh, wow, this man painting no brands and shit. Because you see the name? Yeah, the Mariucci it's a Mariucci. Baseball batter who wants to get their kneecaps broken. Bliss, come he, feel your kneecaps get broken. I'm Two-Bat McGee. That's what they call me on the street. Two-Bat McGee. Look at this. All right, you trying to get double batted? I got 2 bats. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out on the town. I don't eat peanuts or Apple Jacks. I'm just here to break your back, and it's no for Jalen Green. He is little suspect, cause it's 1, 2, 3 strokes on the bed, and he's homosexual. We're not talking about that right now. One way or another, got myself a bat to go along with the swords and the strap. Not what Jalen Green got going on, but understand, somebody gonna be hurt. Whoa, wait a minute. DHB done say he got some big black wood in his hand. Sir, you need to relax. Sir, you need to relax. What's going on here? Brother pull out a bat. He said that's some big black wood. What part of the game is this? This is not why we here, sir. Get it together. But, see, I was going to get myself a beverage, but I infused a lemonade. I tried to make a rum punch, if you will, inside the sanctity, or I should say the inside the sanctuary that is my house, and did not work out in my favor. Let me tell you something right now. Try to make some doggone lemonade with lemon juice, a little bit of honey, water, a little bit of brown sugar, and some of that Colonial Guatemalan rum. It's okay. If I had to grade it out of 30, you probably get a 9. If I had to grade it out of 10, good God, it's probably a 2.7. But I will not throw away something that I put a little bit of effort into it. So with that being the case, I will drink it. Will I drink all of it tonight? No. I will finish it tomorrow. But I will take a cheers because there's some rum in there. So happy 4th to you individuals who are enjoying a beer, whether it be a whiskey, whether it be some rum, some vodka, tequila, whatever the case may be, IPA, whatever, beer, alcohol, water, whatever it is. Cheers to you. It's not the best, but it is what it is. Not the best, but it is what it is. Big ass glass. It's not a glass. This a pitcher, ain't it? Virtuoso for 5 on it said, we do not need any more noise past 3 a.m. Please be mindful of the homeful and the homeless vets who have PTSD. Straight up, ain't that the truth? Ain't nobody need to be setting off fireworks past midnight, let alone 3 hours after midnight. It's crazy. By the way, if you guys happen to frequent a city that just so happens to have alternate side parking, make sure you move your cars in the morning. I know after every single holiday in which alternate side parking is suspended or the parking meters are suspended, they give out the most tickets. When I tell you the meter maids are on the streets 3 a.m., the parking ticket enforcers are on the streets 3 a.m. So if you have a car that is on the side that has Wednesday morning, afternoon, whatever the time is, street cleaning, move your vehicle as soon as you can, because I promise you there will be an orange envelope. Well, if you live in New York City, an orange envelope. If you're in New Jersey, a white, very special fabric paper. Textured paper, and across the entire country, make sure you have your eyes open. Move your doggone, vehicle if you have to. Ain't nobody seen, nobody said, is it the Babaku rum? No, it's not. I actually haven't had any Babaku since, I believe last year when I was on stream. I had finished that 15-year aged one, and then the next rum that I had was the Guatemalan rum. So it's been a little bit of time. John Matthew said, how to get a girlfriend. What do you mean, how to get a girlfriend? What kind of question is this? How young are you, John? How young are you? How to get a girlfriend? I mean, you go up, you start speaking to somebody that you may mess around and fancy. Even if you don't quite fancy them, you engage in conversation. You go out on a series of different dates, or you can do it from not necessarily going out or maybe staying in. A variety of conversation, finding some form of, companionship with you and the individual, some similarities in your likes, and then ultimately when you decide to say, hey, I would like to exclusively see you, you then propose said question, and then you move forward with a relationship there. So that's how it goes. That's a very vague question. You would have to be much more specific. Randy in the building. How's it going? Big Fat Paul said, "Where Henry been?" I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Jimmy said, Tim's or Converse. Rolling with Tim's all doggone day. But Converse is a bit more versatile because you can wear that year-round. I know it sounds blasphemous as a New Yorker, but ain't no reason why you should be wearing Tim's in the summer. You see somebody wearing Timberlands in the summer, let me tell you something. That's a dangerous individual, all right? Don't make me have to tap into the 2016, 2017, 2018 Chiseled Adonis with the triple play powers. You see somebody walking around with a pair of Timberlands on their feet on the beach in the summertime. Today, July 4th, it was some scattering rain showers here in New York City, but I'm pretty sure it was clear skies across the country somewhere, all right? If you've seen somebody walking across the doggone beach with some Timberland boots on their feet and they not dressed for construction or some sort of work that is, relatively necessary for individuals to operate in this world, I'm talking about trades, whether it's a plumber, somebody in HVAC, construction, electrician, plumber, whatever the case may be. You don't see these types of individuals. You just see a regular run-of-the-mill individual walking around with Timberlands on their feet and they clean. Walk away from that individual because I'm telling you that's a dangerous motherfucker. It's about 110 degrees out there in Texas right now. I think across all cities. You see somebody wearing Timberland boots who ain't carrying a doggone hard hat or a goddamn utility belt, run away from that individual. They are dangerous. You understand what I'm saying? What about the black Air Force energy? Timberland energy in the summertime is much more dangerous. Prioritize your health. Prioritize yourself. Walk away. Go the opposite direction. That's a dangerous individual. Okay? Ridiculous. Trust Mike, Pafavon said, I got the baby oil fireworks and handcuffs. Let's do this, Mr. Adonis. Jalen Green said you're supposed to be here 30 minutes ago, and it's your turn. Bring ice. Sir, whoa, trust Mike. I will not trust you, sir. What is going on here? What is going on? 30 minutes? Sir, where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? Who informed you of this information? What is going on? This man saw Jalen Green video and said, I would like to partake and try to involve me in it. Sir, I am not a part of this. You are on your own. I say no thanks. Understand what I'm saying? No thanks. What's wrong with you? Damn Rudy for 5 on it says, sup, Chisel? I want Henry to minister the Jalen Green challenge. Hashtag nutty. Hashtag homie love. Hashtag yeah, buddy. Hashtag you don't understand. Hashtag happy. Sir, I am not happy with your donation. Why? What's going on here? When did we get so suspect around here? Get it together. What's the matter with y'all? Josh Jones in the building, put 2 on it. Say, how did you find the Johnsons movie? Police! Let me tell you something right now. All right, if you guys who are longtime subscribers, I think this was 2017, Something Strange About the Johnsons. 30-minute short film, incredibly disturbing. I think, if I remember correctly, somebody DM'd me the link and said, yo, I'd love to see your thoughts on this, right? I remember opening it up, and I watched about 3 minutes, and then I remembered, wait a minute. A subscriber or follower, whatever the case was, I believe it was on Facebook, they sent me the link for YouTube. I saw it, I said, oh, wait a minute. My camera limit was it could record for 30 minutes and then it would cut off. So I said, okay, if I could just click record, sit down, watch the entire video, maybe I could give a different kind of content. So I hadn't watched the movie at all. So when I was watching it, it was legitimately real-time reaction, first time watching. And I knew because it's a 30-minute movie, I can't press pause and unpack what it was that I was watching. When I tell you I was disturbed, for those who've seen that video, my reaction to it, legit, real-time, it was incredibly disturbing. Incredibly disturbing. Ridiculous. Mr. GH2 5 on said, have you already given an update on Chiseled Adonis Awards? The people need to know. Indeed, you do need to know. That's terrible lemonade. It is what it is. Indeed, the people do need to know, and I shall update you once I get to the bottom of. When I take a look at the Lego set. Luffy put two on. Said, "Where's your video collab with Daquan Wisheye? We never linked up yet, so I can't do the video link up. We haven't had a chance to chop it up. But there is an individual who I might have a collaboration in the future with. Can't say anything too much right now, but let's just say." He does do some reviews, some tutorials, and some might say they're mediocre, but that's neither here nor there. Mr. GH2 said he had a Lego set. It's in the thread. I'll take that a look. And Adrian Patuon said I wouldn't trust Henry to get on pants correctly. Ain't that the truth? Neither would I. Landon said, when am I getting my ESPN deal? I can't envision a circumstance in which that transpires. It would be nice, but the probability of that happening is incredibly futile. Good God almighty, what is going on? Who got this Bowser set? Wait a minute. I got these Bowser set. Wait. Batman, Pac-Man. Oh. Hey, the Discord going crazy. Look at this Lego set that Mr. GH2 done made, bruh. Look at this Lego set. You kidding me? How beautiful that is. I'd have fucked that up if I was a kid. I can't even lie to you. I'd have thought that son bitch was real. I'd have hit on that doggone joystick, pause, and the son bitch would have fucking broke, man. Beautiful goddamn Lego set right there. And check out this Bowser set from Raul. Look at that Bowser set from Raul. This man Bowser playing the goddamn piano to Peach. No wonder her bitch ass keep getting kidnapped. All you gotta do is hop on the keys. Let Peach see Josh on the drums. I promise you she gonna be somewhere in Chicago. Josh, tell your partner it's not what she thinks. It wasn't your fault. Peach just so happened to, accompany you to the symphony, and now all of a sudden she watched you in the percussion and she wants to go home with you. But we're not talking about that right now. Robin said, hello, Chairman. Well, hello. Oh, you want me to play the video? Okay, I got you. Want me to play the video? He wants me to play the video. Here is said, I hope it's playing. Oh, is it playing? Oh, there it is. Oh, look at that. Look at that. They all moving and shit. Look at that. You got the Lego set moving. That's kind of dope, man. I can't even lie to you. That's kind of cool. Last time I played Pac-Man, I went to Barcade in, I believe it was in Park Slope, Brooklyn. Is it in Park Slope? I forget. It might be Williamsburg. I forget. That's kind of cool. I ain't gonna lie to you. Brother out here with a whole Pac-Man set. Can't be denied. Good God. How detailed was this? How much did this cost you, brother? Golly. What? How did you? So you just plug this into the back? And then what happens next? Good God. I need to know how long this took for you to make this. Mr. GH2, could you write in the comment? It was $250. Good God. $250, memories for a lifetime, I'll tell you that much. Hobbies ain't cheap depending on what it is that you do. You got to love it. You got to love the commitment, the willing to commit to the commitment of consistency. How long did that take? How long did that take? Good God. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is where it started. This is where it started out, and then it concluded like that. You gotta love it. Absolutely gotta love it. Josh Batuan said, I'm dead low key. We straight dating because I was good at drums. You started dating because you was good at drums? Ah, Jesus. She saw you on the drums and she said, "My name is Princess Peach." You said, "Excuse me?" She said, "What?" And now here you are. But as for the Chiseled Adonis Awards, I had to go back and go tweak some other things. Let me tell you something right now. I'd like to believe that this is a masterpiece, but I can't go that far and say it is. But y'all are gonna enjoy it. Let's just go that. Y'all gonna enjoy it. Let's say that much. You're really gonna enjoy it. As for the date, well, I would have liked to do the end of June, but then I had other ideas for awards. And then I had completely forgotten that Tom Brady retired. So I got to touch on the fact that Tom Brady retired and he hasn't unretired. I ain't going to lie to you. A piece of me felt as if this man was going to unretire, but he hasn't done it yet. And then the news of him becoming a somewhat minority owner of Vegas, can't not talk about that. So there's just been adding more to it, which I believe is probably more of a problem than a benefit. Now, I've actually flirted with the idea of what if I started the new season with the awards of the last season, but then why have the people wait that doggone long? So I don't know. I have to figure out what date it is that I want to go forward with everything. But then now I wanted to add a Tom Brady portion to everything. So that's what's going on with said awards. The life of a content creator, nothing's ever perfect, but then you always have these ideas of amplifying things, especially when it's a project like that. But that's neither here nor there. Tyree for 5 wants to say, "Hey Chisel, when are you gonna add the oh shit sound effect back? Oh, the oh shit sound effect back into my videos?" I mean, sometimes some sound effects get in, some not so much. It just depends. It's always in the flow of things. So give it some time. Time may come. MDJ, put 2 on it. Said, would I rather fight Judgment Day or Bloodline? I would rather fight Judgment Day because I'm not fighting Samoans. Let me tell you something right now. I have never in my life seen a small Samoan. Moreover, I've never seen a Samoan that can't fight. Just like Tongans. For whatever reason, something about those motherfuckers, they have it in their blood to be ass kickers. People could look at professional wrestling and be like, man, that shit not real. All right, great. You see Umaga in the street. You spit on Umaga. Umaga comes charging towards you. If you can tell me in that very moment that let's just say you have no combat training, you really don't have much in the background of fighting, whatever the case may be, you spot Umaga running 25 miles per hour in your direction. And of course, that's much faster than he's able to run, but let's just make it a bit more scary. Running that speed towards your individual person, you're not going to have a bit of fear? I beg to differ, sir. I've never seen a Samoan who not dangerous. So give me the Judgment Day to fight them. I'll kick Dominic Mysterio's ass numerous times over. Damian Priest is going to have a problem. He's going to be probably my biggest problem. Finn Balor, he's an issue as well. Rhea Ripley, let's just say it's not in a fight. There's no rules. So she gonna be like that hamster or that gerbil or that guinea pig. Why did squeeze me? Whatever the case is, I'm fighting the goddamn Judgment Day. Listen, you got to break them doggone rules. Ain't nobody dealing with that shit. Ms. GH2 said also added the globe. Abby made it at the same time. Ah, interesting. That's nice. That's nice. That's what's up. That's what's up. Akira Kroops for 5 said at least I have the real arcade cabinet. The real arcade cabinet. God damn. What does your man cave look like? I know it's crazy. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who are attending BlurredCon this weekend in Virginia, I will be there at BlurredCon. Am I going to host a panel? No. Am I running something there? No. I just will be in attendance. Last year when I went, I was hidden behind a Toby mask. This year, I will be out in the open with the people. So, I look forward to meeting some of you who I have not already met. If you happen to be there in attendance, I look forward to running into you guys. And I'll be pulling up to as many events and activities out there as possible as I have access to the schedule. And this time around, having been there last year, it being my very first con, now I have an idea of how things go. So that's going to be pretty doggone fun. Oh, he has it inside the server? Bet. I'm going to go and I'm going to search for it. Actually, let me just search right now. Because I want to see that. You in the stream right now. Why wait until later? I'll just do that son bitch. There we go. we should go image. Let's see here. Oh wow. Oh, you got the hose. This man got some waifus. Akira got some waifu up in here. What's going on here? Who is this brother? Got some figurines right here. Akira not play. He got the hose figurines. Shit, let it be a 2 a.m. drunken night. You just get home, look at the toys. No, nobody. We not go there. We not go there. Look at a boat. God damn. You love to see it. Golly, look at the Pac-Man arcade up in Akira's crib. Look at the Pac-Man arcade. That man is never going to miss an opportunity to play. Stop playing with him. Look at it, and it's all of its glory. Hey, man, it ain't nothing wrong with having them stuff inside your crib, bro. Oh, and he got, god damn, look at this. Look at this. Beautiful. Look at the box. Look at the box. Beautiful appearance. Come on. Beautiful. You love to see it. Do I think that Dame's coming to the Heat? I sure hope so. Dr. Bankroll 999 put 999 on it. Said, can never thank you enough, Chisel. Question, Jalen Green versus Josh Christopher one-on-one. Who you got? I'm putting money on the batteries on the shit. Let's just say I'm putting money on Con Edison not doing their job and the television cuts off while I'm watching this excursion. If I just so happen to be there in person, I'm banking on lightning striking and me losing my ability to see. But one-on-one, I'd probably say Jalen Green if we're talking about basketball. But evidently for those two brothers, they like to play with different kinds of balls. But we're not talking about that right now. Adrian Patuon said, you got some bionicle stop motion films. Really? Interesting. You made some, Potter. I said you got some. You made some. Well, you love to see that. Peyton Pafavo said, going to be wild time when Garoppolo can't go, and suddenly Brady comes running onto the field. Tom who? Tom Brady. Coming to the field for the Oakland, Las Vegas, Los Angeles Raiders. I should have said Oakland, Los Angeles, Las Vegas Raiders. But one way or another, I know it's only a matter of time before Tom Brady. I said Tom Brady. Tom who? Brady. Comes to the field. Don't want to have that happen. It's going to get crazy. Nobody wants to deal with that. But Mr. GH2 Patuon said, oh, no, I just read that one. Luffy Patuon said, we them boys are back, and how bad are you going to cook us? Well, we shall see. I'm not too sure. K-Dub in the house, what's going on? How is it going? Tekken said, how do I feel about Super Mario Bros. Z? Have I seen it? No, I have not. I have not seen that. Oh, and I watched Attack on Titan, that hour episode that came out in, what was it, March? April maybe? Whatever the case was. I watched it today. Hunch. But great stuff, man. They need to end the goddamn show because I don't want them to become like The Simpsons or Family Guy or South Park, just running way too doggone long. South Park maybe not so much, but still. Wings of Eternity. Put 10 on it. Say, hey, Chisel, you have a couple of questions to ask. What's your record on how the Steelers are going to be this season? I believe I said 11-6 or 12-5, but I have high hopes for Pittsburgh this year. I think they improved across the board. It's just a matter of them remaining healthy. I think if the offense can start to play, like they have in the fourth quarter, but then early in the first quarter moving forward, perhaps they can be something, a force to be reckoned with because that defense is still good. But it's just the offense that has to pick up the slack. So there's that. So I'd say 11-5 or 12-6. What are my thoughts on Dame possibly going to Miami? I love that. Shout out to New Jersey. Hey, man, I was just in New Jersey. I was in Atlantic City 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. But yeah. So I have high hopes that Dame can end up in Miami because that's his preferred location, and I believe that Portland, given everything that he's done for the organization, would honor where it is that he wants to go. The only downside is what pieces does Miami have that is relatively attractive to Portland that they'll go ahead and pull the trigger, because there's other teams that can offer much better. Now, is Miami willing to give up a bunch of picks and a couple of rotational players alongside Tyler Hero? Because believe it or not, that's probably their one tradable piece that's a big enough of a name that's teams are willing to, take on. So it all depends on what Portland is looking for to receive after giving out Damian Lillard. So we shall see. So there's that. MDJ Patuan said you have a Netflix chill date at your crib. Any advice? Okay, so well, that would depend, because what are your intentions, right? So if you're gonna have this Netflix and chill date at your crib, and your intention at the conclusion of the night is to engage in coital affairs, you have to go about things a little bit differently than if it's just a matter of, hey, we're just gonna hang out and then whatever happens, happens. So if your intention is to smash, you'll have to have a different game plan versus if it's just a matter of hanging out. So I'll go with the latter. If there's any advice that I would tell you, for one, make sure the entire crib is clean. Okay? Don't want nobody coming over. I'm not making it seem as if you have the president coming to your house, but you just got to make sure the place is clean. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to go over to somebody's crib and their crib is dirty. Make sure your crib is clean. Secondly, make sure there's enough fluids that one can go and consume. Have different options. All right, have some water. You can have some juice. Personally, I don't drink soda, but if you have some soda over there, if you happen to be of age, you can have an adult beverage, whatever the case may be. Make sure you have some variety of, drinks that just so happen to be there. So if somebody is thirsty, they have an opportunity to go out there and get something to drink. Or you can go and fix yourself a drink for somebody, because ultimately you should be serving there at your crib. Then, as it pertains to food, make sure you got something to snack on. You can always order, whether you want to go get yourself some pizza, you order in, whatever the case may be, but have something there to snack on, right? So that's number 3. Okay, number 1, make sure everything is clean. Number 2, make sure that you got enough fluid that somebody can go and drink, all right? Any particular kind of beverage. Number 3, make sure that you got something to snack on, okay? Because ordering food is all well and good, but I'll tell you something right now. When you're sitting there, you're watching the movie, whatever the case may be, you're watching the show, you're going to want something to snack on. Make sure that you have some snacks that is there. And then ultimately, number 4, make sure, by God, make sure that you engage with the individual all while you're watching the show. Because if you're just sitting there and you're just watching, but there's no sort of touch barrier that's being broken, there's no sort of conversation regarding what you're watching going on, is going to be a waste of time, okay? So you have to make sure that you can build that camaraderie with that individual who just so happened to be there, but you don't rush the process. You take your time, all right? You take your time. Now, Hush Sounds, pretend on it. Said, sorry to ask this, Chisel, but how do you find motivation to go to the gym and diet? I'm fat. I get depressed because of how big I am and get frustrated because I can't find the motivation. So here's the thing, right? Motivation is shit. Discipline is everything, right? So ultimately, this is the way that I see it. You said you're fat and you get depressed because of how big you are. That's the perfect motivation right there. If you feel depressed because of what your appearance is, you now know the cure to you feeling better about the way you look is to change the way that you look. Now, how to stay motivated, here's what you do. You can do the extreme stuff. Man, I got to do these reps or I'm going to die. Or you start small. You tell yourself every day, this is what I'm going to do, right? You set some small. You do some push-ups, whether you say, all right, I'll do 100 push-ups total for the day. Spread it out the entire day. You could always start with like 50, whatever the case may be. Spread it out the entire day. Push-ups, squats, whatever the case is, you start with something small. Then you could also take into account walking, steps. Do steps, 10,000 steps, 5,000 steps. You start something small. Here's what you got to do. You have to set a goal for every single day. Just have something that it now becomes a routine. And then tell yourself in your mind, you can't go to sleep until you do it. Currently, right now, here's what I do. 100 squats, 50 push-ups, and 100 kettlebell swings every single day, or I'm not allowed to go to sleep. And guess what? If by some miracle that I miss a day, the next day I got to do double. Under no circumstances am I allowed to put my head on my pillow without doing my 100 squats, 100 kettlebell swings, and 50 push-ups. I refuse. My day will never be complete if I don't go ahead and do it. On top of that, something else that I incorporated was I took my iron gym, I put it on top of my, or I should say I connected it to the door frame of my bedroom. Every time I walk in and out of my bedroom, that is 2 pull-ups. How do I keep myself productive? I leave my phone inside my room. Guess what? If I want to go get my phone, I got to do some pull-ups, right? So you start very small, and then you build from there. And that, the discipline, will build the motivation for you to continue to move on. As for diet, portion things out. A lot of people think, man, you got to get rid of all the different foods that you eat. No, you just go down. You have to eat in moderation. You shouldn't be eating so doggone much. Like when people talk about breakfast, lunch, dinner, really, you don't need to eat the breakfast, lunches, and dinner. If you don't feel hungry in the morning, don't eat. Drink your water, of course. I know people who are just, they were able to lose weight on 1 meal a day. Don't starve yourself. Drink your water. Oftentimes, people think I'm hungry. No, you're just thirsty. Drink your water. You're not hydrated. Just drink your water. You'll be all right. High protein, all this other. I'm not big on like super diets. That ain't me. I'm not the meal prep, meal plan motherfucker. But make sure you drink the water, you get yourself disciplined, and then above all else, you make sure you get your sleep. So there's that. So you just gradually build yourself towards something. You tell yourself, this is something I want to do every single day, and then you make that happen on a consistent basis. So that's what it is. That's what it is. Oh, wait a minute. K-Dub, what happened, K-Dub? You said you're in some pain right now. One of your best homies, like a brother, you got killed this morning. Whoa! He was a police officer responding to a call, ended up getting gunned down. Damn. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Hey, rest in peace to your friend, man. I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's rough. That's rough. It's one of the things that you don't, ain't no way you could prepare truly, especially when it's a spontaneous kind of situation like that, out of the blue kind of death like that. That's brutal. That's brutal. And every day he put on the badge, risked his life because in career feels like that. You never know when your last day may come. So you got to cherish your time when you're around those individuals. And I'll tell you the same thing that I tell everybody who's dealt with loss here in the chat, throughout all of my years of live streams. Here's what you do. As brutal and as tough as it is, only thing you can do is keep that individual's memory alive with how you live your life moving forward. And every time you look yourself in the mirror, every time you happen to see your reflection, every time that you happen to open your eyes, you make sure that you keep that person's honor alive with how you live your life. You make them proud with every single moment of your life. Well, maybe not every single moment, but you go out of your way to make sure that you keep their memory alive. You keep those stories alive. You keep the memories alive. You keep everything that you built with those people, the camaraderie, friendship, all that other stuff. You keep it alive with how you navigate through your life. And try to go back and enjoy some of the things that you guys may have enjoyed together. That way you always remember that person. That's one of the biggest things. So rest in peace to your friend, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't have a standalone drink. I only have this mixed failed rum punch that I made earlier. So cheers to him, man. Cheers to him. And he went out responding to a call as a police officer. So he out there in the field doing his job, went out. I'm pretty sure he's a hero in his people's eyes. So that's the way I'll see him, as a hero in his final moments. MDJ said, put 5 on it. Said, I've been a couple dates with this girl. I've been talking to, oh, you've been on a couple dates with the girl that you've been talking to, and she invited you to her crib. Oh, she invited you to her crib for the Netflix date. Any advice or thoughts? Okay, so that's much more specific. Now, if she invited you to her crib for the Netflix date, depends on what transpired in the past couple of days. Now, if y'all have since broken the touch barrier and let's just say the kiss had happened, perhaps some other extracurricular activity had since transpired, or perhaps it was talked about, now you got to go over there. I'm not saying prepared for that action. You still got to make sure you move, accordingly while you're going. But definitely, above all else, going there for the Netflix date at Shorty crib, got to make sure you break the touch barrier. Make sure that you're not in a situation where it's super, creepy. Don't go over, above and beyond. But hold each other close, watch said thing, lean, all the other, or I should say, dude, have her lean, watch, enjoy, little rub over there. If it happened to watch something that happened to be emotional, you got the rub on the head kind of thing, keep the close, that kind of stuff, and then ultimately work your way toward. But we're not talking about that right now. Okay, Robert, put 10 on. Say, hey, what's your thoughts on the Ravens this season? I think the Ravens will be good, but it all comes down to Lamar's health. Back-to-back years, he missed the last 6 games of the season. So with that happening, it all comes down to him. If they remain healthy, I think they will be a playoff berth. They will get, trip to the postseason. But if they deal with injury again, I think they're going to be going home. So you don't want to have that kind of situation there. But I like their defense. Offensively, I'm very curious to see what they're going to do. I heard talks about Lamar airing it out much more, especially with Odell now being there. Very curious what their offense is going to look like because they've been so run heavy. In past the last 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, they are the best rushing team in the NFL history over the course of a 5-year span. So with that being the reality of the situation, I'm very interested to see what Lamar's passing game looks like. But I think the Ravens, without question, will be a double-digit wins, team. So there is that. K-Dub said it's always the good ones that get taken and never the bad ones. It's brutal, isn't it? Absolutely brutal. And it's one of the reasons why, again, like you got to make sure that you cherish those relationships that you have with those individuals, because you never know. Life is wild, man. Life is wild. Like I'll remember when my teammate passed away 5 years ago. How old was I 5 years ago? I was 24. Yeah, so he was 20, I believe 23 when he passed. And it was out of the blue. I got the call. It's like, yeah, Gene died. Excuse me? What are you talking about? This is one of those, it's full of life. Hilarious individual, never had something bad to say about anybody. Died how? Yeah, heart attack at 24. That's great. And you're just sitting there like this doesn't make sense. I know so many bad people that just so happen to play on our squad in high school, and he's the one that it's craziness. So with situations like that, it's like one of those things where it's like, hey, you know what? It's out of your hands. There's nothing that can be done. But like I said before, all you can do is try to keep those individuals, memory alive with how you move forward in your life. Mike Jones said, the hell happened to the AMP house? I saw something on Twitter where they were playing with fireworks. Somebody said they might be purchasing their third home. So have they ravished their homes before? Like, what's been going on with those individuals freaking blowing fireworks in their houses? That's craziness. That's craziness. Just fireworks everywhere. That's ridiculous. Damn. Brother died of COVID in 2022. Shit. Wow. 3 brothers gone in like 10 years. Oh, yeah, that's brutal for their parents, man. That's brutal for their parents. Incredibly tough, man. Y'all got to just try to hold strong for them. Just hold strong for them, support them. Make sure that you haven't forgotten about them. Hold strong for them. Easy. Said, hey, Adonis, never tried Metal Gear Solid. What console would you recommend to play it on? You would have played all of them. Get the PS3, I believe they have, because I have the Metal Gear Solid, the game for the PS3 that has all of the earlier games. Well, not all of them, but Metal Gear 1, 2, and then if you want to play Metal Gear 1, I would say on GameCube, if you have access to one, Twin Snakes, definitely see if you could play on that one. I can't recall if they have the Metal Gear Solid 1 version on PS3 or PS4 or whatever the case is with that game. But Sons of Liberty is on PlayStation 2. Snake Eater is on PlayStation 2. But I believe they have a variation on PlayStation 3. And then ultimately, Son of the Patriots was on PlayStation 3. And then I never really cared for the Raiden games. But I think PlayStation 3 has a disc that has all of them. My favorite video game is the Metal Gear Solid series. But if I had to say an isolated game, probably Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. In fact, I'm replaying it now, although albeit that I play it probably once every month. I'll give it a isolated day. And then this was the first time that I really played it completely out of order, at least at the adult form. So I Forest Temple, then Water Temple, then Spirit Temple, then Fire Temple, and then now I'm in the Shadow Temple, but I haven't played it in over a month. But I would say if it was an isolated game, it's Ocarina of Time. And then the game series is the Metal Gear series. I really enjoy that. Limited time say, can I last a round against a heavyweight journeyman? I don't think so. I mean, I'm not trained for that. So since that's the case, it'd be a super L for me. Who I got? Perk Angle or Super Cena? Perk Angle. Well, Super Cena couldn't be beat. Perk Angle at least would be beat, but he put on a hell of a goddamn, he put on a hell of a performance. So I guess I'd have to say Super Cena because he's going to win. So there's that. Skylar said D-Hop and Dalvin Cook to the Jets. How likely is that to happen? I don't think that's going to be likely because I think they both want to get paid. Maybe D-Hop wants to go somewhere where not necessarily wants to get super paid or whatever the case may be, but Dalvin Cook, he's owed a contract, and I don't think he should go somewhere that they ain't fixing to pay him. So I think there's that. Jova Pavavon said, thoughts on the NFL basically eliminating kickoff returns if you haven't said so already. I hate it. I understand wanting to deal with player safety and stuff like that, but I think it's very stupid. And that, moreover, should be a larger case for why Devin Hester should be in the Hall of Fame. I know he's going to eventually get in, but he should have been a first ballot. But now, I guess, as it pertains to the Hall, ballots and all this other stuff don't mean shit no more. The moment that you get in, you get in. But I think it's bad. It's a huge element of the game. In fact, it's very big. If you have a Cordero Patterson, a Josh Cribbs, a Leon Washington, a was it Earl? No, it wasn't Earl Metcalf. What was it? It was something Metcalf. I forget what his goddamn first name was. But the uncle, if I'm not mistaken, of DK Metcalf, Brian Mitchell, a Brian Westbrook, a Devin Hester, countless return specialists. I know I'm forgetting some people. Billy White Shoes Johnson. I throw out a bunch of different names, but these guys were able to impact games. Dante Hall, who with this one special skill set, if you now start to remove that element from the game, you're making the game less exciting. Because really think about it. The NFL has done everything in their power to embolden the offense and fuck everything else. Truly, fuck everything else. They try to make the field goals a bit more interesting because they pushed the extra point back from a 19-yard chip shot to a 33-yard attempt, right? So, okay, you're going to make the kickers have to try. That's all well and good. Then, kickoffs, now you move it up a few yards to where damn near every single kickoff is a fucking touchback. Now, you're in situations where, if the ball is just anywhere, somebody could just take a knee. Well, it's a touchback. Like, it's foolish. You're taking out elements of the game that made the game so dynamic. Because really think about the 2006 Chicago Bears. Terrible fucking offense. magnificent defense, and one of the best special teams units in NFL history, especially over a course of a 2-year span with what Devin Hester was able to do. If you now eliminate the kickoff factor, because remember, Devin Hester was he is the greatest punt return specialist. He's no longer, he was never really, in my opinion, the best kickoff returner, just specifically for kickoff return, but he was just as lethal. Right? I think Cordero Patterson and Josh Cribbs was 1 and 2 for kickoff for me. But and Patterson took it after he broke the record for me. But you take away that element, you're now hurting that entire squad. So I don't like it. I really don't like it. And I understand wanting to, get player safety because a lot of fucking concussions, a lot of injuries happen on kickoffs. I understand that. But you have to understand it's a collision sport. There's no way for you to completely eliminate it. If you really cared about the players, you'd really get rid of turf fields. But that's a conversation for a different time. But I hate it. And I'm pretty sure the NFL is going to steal the XFL's kickoff camera with the drone or whatever the case is. Oh, and I just bought a drone, by the way, because you remember I told you guys I want to get into a bit of lifestyle content, start taking some photos or whatever, and start recording like the day-to-day and stuff like that. So I did purchase a drone. No clue how to freaking use it, but I got to learn how. I flew it one time inside of my crib. 3 different walls this shit went into because I was like, okay, wait, so is it going up and it immediately right into the ceiling? I said, oh shit. Yeah, so that was a little crazy. But yeah, so there is that. Yeah, they lived on special teams, David. They lived on special teams. Jova. Oh yeah, I just spoke on that. Let me take another swig here of this rum punch that's not so good. It's ridiculous. What time is it right now? It is 11:20. They got 40 more minutes for these goddamn fireworks. Doom, said, what drives me to consistently make content? Because I have a goal, right? Like when I started with social media, the whole reason why I got on social media was I got to go where the people are, right? But then also I wanted to build like somewhat of a community of inside jokes or whatever the case is. And what drives me now to continue to make content is just something that I really enjoy. And then it's an opportunity to make somebody laugh, right? Outside of myself, I thought I caught a gnat. I didn't. So it's an opportunity to go over, or I should say go out there and make somebody, laugh outside of myself. And also it's a challenge for me because after all of these years, because keep in mind, I'm not the conventional content creator who makes a video, let's say once per week or twice per week or whatever. In 7 years and a quarter, have made well over 3,000 videos. Because for those of you who did not know who I was past 2018, Payne will tell you, I had a whole Facebook page, 122,000 followers. I probably had about 700, 800 videos on there. Of those videos, maybe about like 80 to 100 made it to YouTube. Like, I got like 700 videos. I will never see those again. Like, I was putting out damn near a video every single day because I'm like, man, I want to be able to build an audience. I'm trying to find something that sticks. Let me see what I can do to cultivate, a relationship. And then here we are 7 years later, having built somewhat of a community. What drives me is not only the people. I feel like Dusty Rhodes. The people drive me. But it's like just having the challenge of being able to put something out that somebody can laugh at. So there is that. Oh, wow. Payne said, real ones remember the crack egg video. Fun fact, I believe that was my second million viewed video. There was a video in a staircase. I forget what it was, but this dude was sleeping with this woman, stroking her shit, unlike Jalen Green. Took an egg and cracked it on top of her head. I got to 1 million views, I think, in like 2 days, and then they blocked me. They took the video down too. I think my very first million viewed video was Soldier Boy. It was Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy working out. And then the second one was a cracked egg. And then I think the third one was the MTA rant. And then I was off from there. Brian Pumper was his name. Yeah, Brian Pumper was his name. That's right. That's right. Brawl said, did I hear Ash Ketchum is no longer the protagonist in Pokemon? I did hear that. But somehow Pokemon's still continuing. Yeah, they said it was, there's another kid who's going to do the story. They need to end Pokemon, dog. They need to end it. I don't like it no more. They need to end it. Sometimes you got to move on, dog. Just stop it. The whole goal was to catch them all. Now they made it fucking impossible. Now I understand you could do the stuff, online on the Switch or whatever the consoles is that they play Pokemon on now. But let's be real. Let's be real. What made Pokemon so special was the ability to connect with your freaking kid who is next to you or whatever the case is. Now that everything's since gone, super digital to where you don't need no link cables, we don't got to be in the same vicinity nor conversate or build any form of companionship relationship to go ahead and catch other Pokemon. It really don't make sense no more, dog. Shit foolish. End the doggone, shit, man. End it. Retro, but 5 said, what would be my advice to improve and grow on YouTube, Twitch, and other kinds of social media? For one, you have to remain consistent. That's number one. Number two, you have to engage like a motherfucker. When you're just now starting out, nobody knows who you are. By chance, people will probably fall on your video, right? So for one, you have to be your own marketer. When I was on Facebook and I started back in 2016, my fingers had carpal tunnel. My hand had carpal tunnel. My fingers would jam the fuck up because I would never stop hitting that damn share button. All it takes is one person to see your shit. They share it. Then that other person who sees it because somebody else shared it, they share it. It lands on somebody else's page who has some sort of audience that happens to engage. They share it, and then now you're off and running. But if you're not willing to share your shit, it's over. It's fucking over. And it's not easy. It's very discouraging when it's in the beginning because imagine putting your entire day into making a piece of content. You put that sumbitch out and let's say 17 people watch it. Nobody comments. You probably get a couple of likes and then that's it. So it's very brutal when you first start. So the best case scenario for when it comes to improving and growing, as it pertains to improving, you just got to keep throwing shit up against the wall and seeing what sticks. Because nobody, like LeBron James wasn't LeBron James on day one. That wasn't the case. Michael Jordan wasn't Michael Jordan on day one. Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady on day one. Usain Bolt wasn't Usain Bolt on day one. Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, whoever the hell names you want to throw out there, those people who are excelsior at what it is that they do, they were not that on day one. So you have to be prepared to fail. You have to be prepared to have your videos not get viewed. You have to be prepared for your content not to get viewed. You got to be prepared for your shit to suck, your shit to stink when you first begin. And it's an uphill battle from there. Best believe, listen, let me tell you something right now. I got a podcast coming up, right? And I can tell you right now, trying to figure out ways to make this sumbitch, work in the beginning, I know it's going to be incredibly tough. Granted, I got a following, he got a following, whatever the case may be, but still, let me tell you something right now. It's going to be rough in the beginning, but I know it's a long game. You have to think down the line. You got to think long term. So look at it like this. When it comes to making the content, until you get to year 3, that's when it really begins. You ain't a content creator until you got 3 years of content. Remember, when I look at professional play, like when I look at NFL players, NBA players, whatever the case may be, right? When people start talking about people being elite or something like that, you show me 3 years of consistency, now I could say you have officially become something. Just like making money. You can make the term now, I hate it now, but 6 figures, right? You make over 100,000, you've now into that 6-figure mark, right? Anybody can have a good year, Do it 3 years consistently. Now you can say you've claimed that title. So when it comes to creating the content and everything like that, give yourself a 3-year window. Do everything under the sun in those 3 years to post and remain consistent. Engage with your audience. And after 3 years, if nothing has moved, if you haven't grown, then you can look at it and be like, all right, fuck this shit. But when it comes to improving, make sure you engage with the audience. Since you're just starting, you can literally respond to every single fucking comment and DM because you ain't going to have a lot. So you build that rapport with the particular viewer, you keep making videos, and then you take advice from the people who are watching. Because soon enough, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people consistently watching. You pick their brains of what it is that they want to see. If that coincides with what you got going on, go ahead and post that. Now you build that rapport. So there's that. Oh, I got a video coming out on Adam 22. I got a video on Adam 22 coming up. Kushan put 2 on, said, ask anything, thoughts on the Adam 22 situation. I got a video coming up on that tomorrow, I should say, because I recorded it last night. But yeah, tomorrow. I've just been collecting a bit more data. But yeah, I got something on that. At first, I was going to do like a whole rant roast kind of situation. But like I've always stated, I don't really care what people do in their personal life or what they got going on. But when you post it on the internet and then it comes across my desk because one of my subscribers or followers just so happened to send it to me, now you're going to get my opinion about it. It's like with the Jalen Green thing. I could give a shit what you do in the privacy of your own crib or your own dormitory or whatever the case may be. But these motherfuckers was out here recording you, putting it up on social media, whatever the case is. Now I done seen it, so let's talk about it. You know? But I don't give a shit what the fuck you do behind closed doors. It's your business. I don't give a fuck. Like, people will see a video, they really think like somebody could be very harped up on. I'm not. I do my shit, I move on. Right? But there's that hazard. Said, yeah. How y'all mentals and y'all chicken? Hashtag 15 months. Yes, indeed. My mental's good. Chicken, doing all right. So there is that. Me said open relationships is trash. Well, it depends. It depends on the dynamic because you really got to be about that shit. You really got to be about that shit. There's some swingers that's out there that I have seen because I personally met 3 swingers in my lifetime. Some of the happiest motherfuckers I've ever met in my life. Because they're not sitting over here lying about the lifestyle that they live. They already knew this is some shit that I'm into. They committed to the game and they are not hesitating about it at all. The issue is a lot of people talk about, man, I want to be in an open relationship or whatever. All right, cool. How open you want the relationship to be? Man, I wouldn't give a fuck if somebody was sleeping with my girl. All right, cool. And they're going to send you a video. Guess who got to edit the footage? You. So you watching your girl. You prepared for that? You prepared for that? Shit was sweet when you was talking, but man, I could sleep with whoever I want. What happened when she get into... Yeah, life different, huh? Shit ain't sweet no more. Shit ain't sweet no more. MLK said, can I recall my first heartbreak for somebody I had a crush on? What did I learn from it? First heartbreak. Okay. No, I can't use elementary school because that shit really don't count. I was a fucking, what was I, 9? What was her name? Was it Maya? Maya? How was it pronounced? Because it was M-Y-E-E. It was like, it was Maya, but it was spelled very, very, very bizarrely. And you don't count, like, I think any relationship that is junior high school down, that doesn't count, right? So it's like, oh, man, we're going to be girlfriend. And then after like 2 weeks, I think when we got like midway through the school semester, her parents moved to Boston with her, and she ended up departing. And I was like in the 3rd grade. I'm like, what happened? I think I still have her as a character in my WWF No Mercy. She might still be a character in my WWF No Mercy. Now that I think about it, She might be there. My brother had some harlot in there as well. I forget. But I can't use that one. First heartbreak. First heartbreak. Prom, junior high. No, maybe. Mm, I can't. I don't think I've ever been heartbroken per se. But I have had moments in which you can have a crush that just doesn't like you back and you got to watch, other people get what you so desperately wanted. So there's whoa, wait a minute, beating meat until you need surgery. Sir, wait a minute. What's going on here? What are you referencing? But yeah, so but that was like 6th grade. So can I even count that? I don't know. I don't know if I could count that, but I'll keep it relatively brief. There was this girl when I was junior high, 6th and 7th grade. Really, really, really liked this girl. I think I talked about it before. But we used to speak on AIM. That's how old we are. For those of you who remember AIM, fucking AIM. Good God, we used to be on AIM and we'd be talking. But like, man, who you like? And I'd be listening all. She'd be talking about, oh man, I don't know. You go first. I'm like, yeah, I like you, and all this other stuff, right? It's like, yeah, I don't like. Well, we just good friends or whatever. Why don't you like me? And then I'll never forget. It was I was like pursuing heavily for like 12 months, and then 7th grade, Valentine's Day, I'm walking to school. My dad gave me, I think it was like $2 or something like that. There was some There was a Mexican who was selling flowers or whatever. For whatever reason, that day, it was like single flower. I guess he was selling roses like $1 a pop or whatever. So I bought one, got the rose, whatever. I kept it in my book bag until I happened to see her when we got to class, gave her the rose in class. He's like, oh, wow, this is so sweet, but no, I don't want it. I can't take it. She gave it back to me, so I'm just standing there like, back at the class, I'm just sitting there. My tears gone cold, I'm wondering why. Woke out of bed. I'm sitting over here, hurt. 12. Pain, right? Pain. We leave class. Mind you, this was the last period because I waited until the end of the day. I figured that'd be the best time to do it. I walked from the side exit of the school. I went to Roy H. Man. So I walked through the side exit. Now it's replaying in my mind. Ah, boy. I thought I moved past this. No, I actually did. But I walked out the side exit, walked around the front. There's a gate. The gate has 2 openings. I walked past the first one. The 6th graders are now coming out. I pass the 6th graders, and then I spot her in front of she was in front of bus 4. I'm literally here right now. This is crazy. This is what happened when you have mental pictures. I'm in front of bus 4, and I see her leaning on the fence, and would you believe, one of my close friends at the time, Jonathan, they was making out because they became boyfriend and girlfriend that day. And I see her, they making out and shit, and I'm just there like, word. That's wild. What's crazy was I had dapped up Jonathan before I left school. So this motherfucker dapped me up. I walked out the side exit. He walked out the front exit and started making out with my doggone crush. Ah. Pain, bruh. Pain. But it be like that sometimes. It be like that sometimes. What you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It be like that sometimes. You can't hate. You got to charge it to the game. But at the time, I was in pain, bruh. At the time, I was in pain. People thought that shit was sweet. It wasn't sweet for me. I was over there. When I got home, I was on the other side of the door like,
it should have been me, not him. It's not fair.
I was hurt. I was hurt. Shit wasn't sweet at all. But yeah, that was probably the closest I ever came to getting my heart broken. Oh, probably shit, the next year, 8th grade prom. I remember there was this Trinidadian girl that I used to try to see if I could talk to or whatever. Very interested in her. I'll never forget. I asked her to prom inside the lunchroom. She said no. And her friends laughed at me. And I said, "Oh, word? That's crazy." I'm just standing there, same moment. It took me back. My tea's gone cold. I'm wondering why. Got out of bed alone. I would sit over there, pain, bruh. But I ended up, funny enough, I got excluded from the prom because I wasn't a very, I don't want to say I was a bad kid in junior high. I wasn't, by any means. I think I just so happened to be in the wrong place at wrong time at numerous different moments. Like, let's say I was the kid where, legitimately, it was like fucking television. People could be throwing stuff in class for 30 minutes. They'll call security, and security will never pull up. On the 31st minute, I will have picked something up that just so happened to have been thrown. Security would come in. I'm the only motherfucker that got something in my hand. I may not have even had any intentions of throwing anything. But the fact that I had shit in my hand, it was over. Hey, you out here causing trouble. But wait a minute. Nope, it's over for me. Nobody ever had my back like that. Ain't nobody fucking vouch for me and shit. Funny enough, people fake as shit. Like now, I look back and think about it, people fake as shit. But it's in junior high, so of course people gonna be fake. But man, I used to get screwed over, dog. I used to get screwed over like a motherfucker. I'll never forget. I was, son of a bitch. Now it's coming back to me. It's coming back to me. Fucking science class, 7th grade. These motherfuckers is throwing washers. Do I have a screw over here? Son of a bitch. The washers that you pretty much put underneath a screw or bolt, whatever the case may be. They throwing washers at each other, hitting people in the head. That shit don't feel good, right? So they keep throwing the washers in the class. They call for security to come pick, because they causing trouble. So I'm over here like, nah, if they going to keep throwing washers and people keep throwing it back at them, if I just pick up all of the washers, they won't have anything to throw. I pick up about 18 washers. I'm just picking them up. My back is turned to the individuals throwing the goddamn washers, and I'm picking them up so the people beside me can't throw them back. I finally get like 18 to 19 of these fucking washers. I stand up, legitimately. I turn around, security right there. And they're like, "So you throwing washers?" I'm like, "No, see, I'm picking them up because they keep throwing." "Well, you're going to have to come with me. You got to go to the principal's office." "No, but I'm picking up the washers so that you don't." I'm trying to help you. I'm legitimately like, "Yo, wait a minute. Hold on." So you know how you can watch television show and they have the people, you break the fourth wall and you look at the live audience. I'm legit like singing in my ear. I got like the Pokemon music going in my ears, picking up the. Ooh, I'm getting tight. I'm fucking getting goosebumps right now. I wish I could. I'm getting goose. This should take me back. I'm picking up these fucking washers in science class, literally, so that these motherfuckers can stop throwing shit. I came here to learn. I pick up like 17, 19 fucking washers. I'm like, "I bet." "Oh, here's a washer right here." Son, like these shits, there was a little bit bigger though. There was a little bit bigger. Son of a bitch. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me see if it can focus. Let me see if it can focus. On the hand? Nope, I guess not. But what, like some shit like this, right? Some shit like this, but a little bit bigger. There we go. Something like this, but a little bit bigger, right? It was a little bit bigger. So imagine motherfuckers throwing this shit like a freaking like a destructo disc. The entire hilarious. I got a fucking washer on command, but throwing this shit like a fucking destructo disc in class. Pick these some bitches up, and I'm like, all right, bet. Let me just. And I'm looking at security. Like, oh, thank God y'all here. Now they can't throw the washers. Here, let me give you what they was throw. And they on some, yeah, you're gonna have to come with us to the principal's office. You was over here throwing washers. What you mean? So now I'm looking at my classmates, like, yo, y'all know I wasn't partaking in this. Why would you? I'm in the principal's office just sitting there like, yo, y'all about to get my ass whipped, because my dad was still in his prime at this time. So I'm just sitting there like, yo, I wasn't throwing nothing. And to make matters worse, the teacher didn't even vouch for me. I'm the only one in the principal's office. I ain't throw shit. Taking me back, bro. Some fucking pain, man. I never moved past. Toretto, Pafavo, said, what do I think about the Breakfast Club getting cooked live by the 2024 presidential candidate? I didn't see it. Who was the candidate who cooked them live? I would like to see it, says Monique. But I'd go watch that. Now, what are my thoughts on them getting cooked? It makes me wonder what questions they ask, because I know they are left-leaning. So I would highly doubt it was a situation in which they went in neutral. So I'd be curious to see how that all played out. But who in particular did they interview? Predator said you was barred from your junior prom for wearing cargo pants. You was a straight A student. Oh, they got me fucked up. I'd have went inside. Now, granted, if they told you it was a dress code ahead of time and there was a zero tolerance, then you kind of in a situation where it's fucked. But if it was just you just pull up and get in, I don't see why that happened. That shit crazy. He was number one, said he got caught wearing cargo pants. They said, yeah, we can't let you in with them pants. You can't get in with them shoes. We can't let you in with them shoes. Ice Tray, Batuan said, thoughts on the Fresh and Fit podcast. Let me tell you something, right? Fun fact, I low-key was close to getting onto the Fresh and Fit podcast, because I believe when they were still in the midst of just like interviewing, I don't want to say anybody, but people who had some remnants of following, or whatever the case may be. And I remember I had tuned in to one of their streams, and I commented in the live, and then I think it was either one of the producers, their names, Chris and Mo. One of the producers knew who I was, or whatever the case was, and then they had mentioned it to somebody donated after I was already there and said, yo, you should have Chiseled Adonis on the podcast. They're like, who's Chiseled Adonis or whatever, have him reach out or something. So if I were to reach out, I think there's a chance that I would be able to get onto the pod. But I'll say this. I think for them, it was very genius what they've done in the podcasting space primarily, and largely they added a different dynamic to the manosphere. Because if you really think about it, you had your Tom Leykis's, Patrice O'Neal's, Tommy Sotomayor's in the olden days of YouTube, right? Tommy's still going now. Of course, Patrice is since deceased, and then Tom Leykis, I'm not even too sure if he's still going. But then you had Rollo Tomasi, all these other individuals who had the videos coming out, right? Sandman, things of that nature. That was going on during the 2010s. Kevin Samuels came along and added a different dynamic to where he was interviewing, or I should say talking to these women on a one-on-one live demonstration to showcase, whether it be delusion or the back and forth of relationship dynamic or whatever. Fresh and Fit took the one-on-ones, put all of these women in one room. Here's what was so genius about what it is that they had done, right? And I'm talking primarily about the after hours. When they first started, their very first 2 years, a lot of people think that they only brought on a bunch of like OnlyFans models and stuff like that because anytime that I start to watch a channel, I go back and I look at the early stuff. They had some PhDs, master's degrees, career women, bachelor degree women, fresh out of college, fresh out of high school, but somehow all of them sounded the same. And that was incredible to see in real time. So much fresh. I don't know so much about, him and his dynamic, because I ain't gonna lie to you. I think when you really think fresh and fit, you think Myron above all else. But I think they're a good podcast. But I think it's gotten to a point now where it's redundant. Like there's only so much times you can have the same kind of reaction to things. And the reason why I say that is it seems like there's been the audience, I should say, is tuning in less for education and more for the debauchery. So if you really think about it, look at the highest viewed clips. It's when shit goes awry, which obviously people will be entertained by stuff like that. But it gets to a point where, Tommy live right now? Well, there it is. Yeah, because Tommy in YouTube, it's ridiculous, like what's going on with him and everything. And that's still my guy, $100,000. I just obviously don't got as much time to tune in as much. But with Fresh and Fit, it's gotten to a point now where it's somewhat, redundant. I think they need to tweak. Some stuff. And moreover, they were transparent about why they started. It's like a way to, get girls, and then they started to actually start to make impacts and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, I think their actual content before they do the after-hour shows with the girls and everything, when they're talking about finance, when they're talking about real estate, when they're talking about real-world shit, I think that truly is their most valuable piece of content. But the vast majority of people only tune in for the fucking debauchery. So you got to give the people what they want, But overall, I find it interesting. But I think there's way too much infighting in the manosphere. I think it starts to get a little ridiculous because you're supposed to be, I don't want to say banding together, because that's not what the intention was. If you want to big up men, you don't have to, beat down women. Which I don't believe that that's what their intention may be, but it gets to a certain point where it's like, all right, are you going above and beyond just to try to make somebody look dumb? You can make your point without having to do that. Let them stand alone and be an idiot by themselves. You ain't got to go and join in the back and forth like what are you losing hair follicles for? So there is that. There is that. Loud one, for 5 on, said, will I ever do hockey big hits and knockouts commentary like I did with the UFC? Hockey's a little bit interesting because I think there was Fight on Ice? Like ice fights thing that they had going on. Whole thing got copywritten, so I couldn't even fucking do anything with that. So I don't know how difficult it is to get that going. But I would love to if I can get past the copyright. Eggs said, what's my advice to date single mothers? Don't do it. Don't do it. Truly, recreational use only, in my opinion. Don't do it. You'll never have authority over that child that's going to be with her. If you cultivate a doggone relationship and things go awry, guess what? You and that relationship with that child is now gone like that. Secondly, me personally, I never understood the logic nor the willingness to continue somebody else's saved game. I think that's foolish. There are a ton of different childless women who just so happen to be out there. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't good single mothers who are out there. There definitely are. But me personally, I think that's a little bit foolish, because that's a lot of baggage to have to go in there and deal with. There are some who are capable. But more often than not, I have seen with my own anecdotal evidence that cannot be taken for a fact because it's personally my experience. I probably seen maybe 1 or 2 actually work out. Every other one gone sideways. So truly, I think it's best to stay away from something like that. I it's just that there's too much stuff going on there. UFC or One Championship. I enjoy One Championship because I think One Championship has better highlights. But UFC in its totality, I would probably go there. I would probably go there. Hollywood said, "You got to ask me something, please." Oh, feel free to ask. Oh, wait, let me go scroll down on the donation because there's a couple that I done missed. Oh, Jesus Christ. Henry's in the building. He put 10 on, said, Chiseled, where you rank amongst meat beaters. Been beaten since June 5th, 1981. My first life, 42 years ago, 15,369 days ago, 22,126,803 minutes, multiple carpets covered, 5 wrist surgery, hashtag God mode. Sir, you need to relax. You need to relax. What is going on here? Ravenscroft, put 1 on it. MDJ, put 2 on, said, would I rather fight Undertaker or Kane? I would rather fight Kane, because Undertaker actually has a bit of that background, the combat background. He has that. Kane, he'll still whip your ass either, but you're saying which one would I rather face? So I think I'd actually take much more of a beating if I fought Undertaker versus fighting Kane. Optic, for 5 was, hey, Chill, did you get a chance to watch AEW Forbidden Door, New Japan Forbidden Door? Am I planning on going to any AEW or WWE events? I did not get a chance to watch AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door. Now, as for if I have any planning to go to any WWE or AEW events, I would have loved to go to SmackDown, which is going to be in MSG this weekend, but I'm going to be in Virginia for BlurredCon. So the next WWE event that I may attend, I should say will attend, will be WrestleMania 40 next year, unless there's a pay-per-view or show that comes to the metropolitan area between now and then. I'll attend that if I have availability, but above all else, WrestleMania 40, I shall be there. Mr. GH2 put 5 on it. Said, this reminds me of when a snow day ruined my attempt at Olive Branch. Story coming to Discord soon. Well, I look forward to reading that. Adrian put 5 on it. Said, for the guy that wanted to see my old terrible slow motion film, it's on this channel, and I am sending the super chat. Well, hopefully that individual is going to tune in. Ryan put 5 on, said, this coming football season, what are my dark horses, NFC, AFC championship picks? Long-time subscriber, happy for the recent success. Well, I appreciate you. Now, dark horse picks for the NFC and AFC championship. Now, the AFC, obviously, I think my dark horse will be the Pittsburgh Steelers, followed by, well, I can't say Jacksonville because they're no longer flying underneath the radar, but I'll say Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh would be my AFC championship pick because I believe Kansas City will be in the AFC championship again. And NFC, Detroit and Chicago. I think Detroit and Chicago will be good this year and really surprise people. Chicago, I think, has the best off season. So I'm really excited for what things are going to look like, but it all comes down to what things look like on paper. Henry said, Pateno said, "Sup, Chisel? Say that you woke up in my house, walls greasy, floor covered in buttercream, and the only way to get out was to get treatment from the creamers. Also, your brother in the attic. What you doing, sir? I'm calling the police. What are you talking about? What am I doing? There's no reason for me to be down there. I'm calling the police."
We are the police. We are the police. The police of Haiti. The police of Haiti.
Take his ass to jail! You go to jail, you son of a bitch!
All right, hold on, man.
You go to jail!
He fucked up. What you talking about? Ravenscroft, Patuan said, best defense all time. You take it the 2000 Ravens. I'll take the 85 Bears, 76 Steelers, 2000s Ravens. For me personally, I'd say 85 Bears. I think the 85 Bears are the best defense of all time, followed by the 2000s Ravens, and then the 1976 Steelers. But great defenses that were there. Hollywood said, Takahashi 20. Read this, Takahashi 2023 Calzada. What does that mean? What does that mean? Takanakui? Takanakui? I'm not sure what that is, brother. Arlen said, you think Scott Steiner coming out every time that they got the goddamn siren going? Hey, shit, me too. Braden said, my thoughts on Adam 22. Stay tuned. I got a video coming tomorrow. Would I play an MMA game that is heavily arcade-like? Probably. But, I mean, I don't have much time to play as much games. Who Dat for Life Chris said, what's my thoughts on athletes getting crucified for gambling on their own play? Gambling with their own money when people like Brett Favre, Robert Kraft, and Jerry Jones' actions pretty much getting ignored. Here's the thing, right? When you have rules and regulations that are put in place, I understand why the penalties come out. Like if you tell somebody hey, you can't gamble, and they try to find a loophole or whatever, and they end up getting caught, I get why that happens. But I think the media, it's more on the media, right? Because they should keep their foot on the necks of the Jerry Joneses, of the Robert Krafts, of the Brett Favres of the world, and keep that story in circulation. It's more on the media's fault for not covering that. As for the players, I think when you're making that kind of money, there should be a buffer. For example, if you have a girlfriend, a wife, a friend, you put the money on an account in their name and you gamble from their phone on what it is that you want to do. So you're not directly involved. If you do it under your own account, connected to your own bank, on your own games or your own sports, I think you're foolish. Like, for example, Mike Vick's situation. It wasn't gambling, but with the dog fighting or whatever. You're directly connected to this. Why would you partake in it? You are the bag. If there's anybody who cannot jeopardize getting caught up in some shit, it's you. So disconnect yourself from it. It's foolish. It's like with, I've always said this, heckling, like in stands, right? For me personally, if things were said that have since crossed the line to where we have to now go past the level of civil discourse, I'm not personally going to put hands on you because I have too much to lose. But I'll have people there that you won't know are associated with me by any degree because we will have been close or whatever the case is, but there will be no interaction in that moment. There can be a look and a signal that will be made by something that I may have done that nobody will be able to pick up on because it's an inside kind of thing. Things are taken care of that's done without me having to do anything, and then you move from there. I'll never understand. What's the purpose? Like, I don't get it. Obviously, the league are in the bed with the gambling company, without question. But if you're a player, you individually should not be partaking in any form of gambling under your own, because it's already, you're too close to it. Personally, I think it's stupid. I think you should be able to wager money if you want. If I'm playing, now, you might have some insider information. Okay. But overall, there should be a buffer. Have an account open on your cousin's phone or whatever the case is. You make your wager, you go back, and then at that point, you go and you collect. You have your own personal account that's completely disassociated from what you have going on. Like, come on, man. Get it together. Derek put 5 on it, said, I'm really interested in your perspective of the major layoffs from ESPN and Disney as a whole. Also, have you ever been let go due to a layoff? I have never been let go due to a layoff. But with the massive amounts of individuals getting laid off without any kind of warning or whatever the case is, I think it's very devastating if you're in a spot where you don't have any particular kinds of of a reputation in the space. Like, for example, somebody like Jalen Rose, he gonna be perfectly fine, right? He gonna be perfectly fine. He can go wherever the fuck it is that he wants, right? He's been doing it for quite some time. He has the credibility. He can go wherever the fuck it is that he wants, right? But for some of the more lower level individuals who now since been laid off and now you got to go elsewhere, it's a very competitive fucking space. So with that being the case, it's going to be incredibly difficult, to probably find another job of that magnitude. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was just a matter of budget cuts, so whatever the case is. But one way or another, it's tough. Very, very fucking tough. Because I would assume everybody doesn't get a severance or some shit like that. So with that being, the situation, it's a very unpleasant reality. Very unpleasant reality. One Piece anime kind of fire. Yes, indeed. One Piece is on fire right now. Big Mama. Hollywood said they have crazy fights. Okay, I'll look into it. Who Dat for Life Chris says, is it wrong for me not to judge Zion on who he's screwing, but judge him for paying past 1K and that's it? If anything, I want to ask Zion how she was and if I need to schedule a session. Here's the thing, right? And I talked about it a little bit earlier. I don't give a fuck what people do in their personal life, but when it's posted on the internet and it comes across my desk, it now becomes my business, right? And I agree with you 110%. I don't give a fuck who it is that you want to go and sleep with. I don't care. Nor should you. But you're a $300 million man. You're in a position where even if you never had any game and you had to, even at this stage, pay for pussy, that's what you chose? Moreover, you led her on to believe that y'all are in a relationship. Like, I think I saw a tweet. She's tattooing your name on her face. She's posting positive pregnancy tests on her Twitter. She's making songs about, sir, even if you wanted to just sleep with her, you could pay the premium to sleep with her one time and move on with the rest of your life. Let's just say she is crazy. You paid and sent $65,000 to this harlot. You in her Snapchat. You in her text logs. What are you doing? Have you no shame? It's the actions of how you went about it. Because I'm not saying just because you got all this money, now you just anybody will just show up and want to, be with you. But let's keep it a buck. Ain't nobody choosing to sleep with no porn stars because they want an actual legitimate relationship. You trying to just sleep and fuck around. So with that being the case, this is who you chose. It's a little bit disturbing, especially given that there are countless elders in that very, very league who have gone through similar sort of situations, thus advise the youth to look at their life as an example of what you don't want yours to look like. And somehow we still have these young bulls making these mistakes. It's rather bothersome. It's rather bothersome. Zero said, did I talk about the Adam 22 situation? No, I have a video coming for that tomorrow. Marquis said, what do I think about Dylan Brooks' contract? $80 million seems like a lot until you consider how much motherfuckers is getting paid in the NBA. So with that being the case, you take a look at some of the best contracts in the NBA, there's a lot of people who you'd consider scrubs getting that kind of contract. And I've talked about it when Dylan Brooks got the notice from the Grizzlies that they weren't going to have him return. I said I think that's bullshit and a bad idea because he meshes so well into what it is that they're trying to do over there. I think it's foolish to let that man walk. But overall, him getting the $80 million, I got no issues with it. Elise, put 5 on and said, who do I think will be the starting QB, Brock Purdy or Trey Lance? I actually think it'll be Brock Purdy because Trey Lance, that injury time for that leg and the way that he plays football, maybe he might need a little bit more time. But the same thing applies to Brock Purdy because of the fucking elbow situation. Whether he makes a full recovery by week 1. So I think it all comes down to who's going to be the most healthy. But you have to consider Brock Purdy had never lost a game as a starter, and the one game that he did lose, he got hurt. So for all intents and purposes, on technicality, he's still undefeated. He's not, but so there is that. But I think Purdy will most likely end up starting. Average Leo said, "Why is college the only answer for after high school?" No, it's not. Trade. You go into the trades, you will have a job for life. That is a legitimate skill. You get HVAC, plumbing, electric work, construction, cooking. Like these, you go to trades, you have a job forever. Cooking, maybe not so much. But those, you go to a trade school. They making money. Everybody looks at entrepreneurs and all this other stuff. Like whenever I talk about entrepreneurship or I talk about like becoming, because really you go into social media, that's really entrepreneurship, right? Because everybody think, oh man, you got to just be building some sort of brick and mortar business. No. These online space, everything's a business. You start a podcast with your friends, that's a business. You got to learn and remember how to treat it like a business or whatever the case is, right? I always talk about that because that's what people talk about they want to do, but they don't know, the hardship that goes into trying to do so. So I talk about that. But truly, if anybody were to say, man, what should I try to get into the trades, learn the fucking trades, you will have a job forever. Moreover, the money that you will make in that job will be magnificent. It may not be sexy work, but these are the people who make the world go round. Fucking truckers. I got a couple of truckers who are up in here. Fucking truckers. When the pandemic done transpired and everything was shut down, but you was ordering on Amazon and they still showed up 2 days after the purchase, or maybe same day, next day, overnight, whatever the case. Fucking truckers. You ain't got to go to college. Truly, in my opinion, you go to college, you better be doing a fucking field that needs college. You want to be a doctor? Okay, good. Want to be a lawyer? Okay, good. Want to be a scientist? Okay, good. But for the most part, you don't need to go to fucking college. You go to a fucking apprenticeship or some shit like that. OSHA, all this other. You go get these certifications or whatever. You ain't need to go to fucking school for that. Whole college should have just become a super racket for the goddamn government. Come on now. You got hella options. I would actually implore more people to get into the trades. Because there's so much more upside right there. If it wasn't for those individuals who are doing that, is it considered blue collar work? Is that considered blue collar work? The trades? Is that considered blue collar work? Are construction workers blue collar? What is that called? Is it blue collar? The working class? The people who are doing the blue collar work, come on now, they make the country run. If they ain't working, motherfucker, we don't have none of this shit. They get all the fucking respect from me. Fuck that. When I was in high school, I learned all of these different things. Plumbing, electric work, construction, HVAC, HVAC, all this shit. I was learning all this shit. I was actually gonna go into doing construction because I could have got, I believe when I was coming out of, when I came out of high school, I had 3 years of work study because we were building a house when we were in high school that I could utilize to go and get I think it was like the OSHA certified situation when I came, but then I was looking at it like, yeah, I don't know, I'll just go get a different job that actually gave me a bit of time and wiggle room so that I'd be okay. But that's where those motherfuckers make the world run. Those are the motherfuckers who make the world run. They don't get enough respect. Everybody want to talk about fucking entertainers, athletes, entrepreneurs, fucking YouTubers like me and all this other shit. Fam, the blue collar work is where it's really at. Because let me tell you something right now. Everything fucking shut down today. Who the fuck are you gonna call? Your toilet clogged. Your phone don't work. Something happening with your house. The heat ain't on. Who you gonna call? The internet? You gonna call me? I'll make a video about you. I can't help you. You better call somebody who's a fucking blue collar person. Come on now. Don't call me. So there is that. Give your respect to those individuals. Now, tech people, truly, in my opinion, I don't think they necessarily need to go to. Now, if you're in innovation, if you're in those type of individuals who are in technology for innovation, then perhaps you can go to school. But truly, if you just study under somebody, I think that'll be more than enough. I think truly with college, depending on what it is that you're doing, if you were just an understudy for a professional, you could get so much further. Like, I know now on social media, there's a large influx of gurus, people who are constantly trying to sell courses and classes and master classes and mentorships and all this other stuff. But those who have been properly vetted, who actually know what they're talking about, and they're not scamming the people, they actually providing value. If you just pay their price, you milk every piece of information you can out of what it is that they're offering. You ask the right questions based on everything that you have since taken in from the information that they are now selling you. I promise you get so much further than going to school and getting a degree. Like that there's so much upside in learning from somebody who's actually doing what the fuck you're doing. Like, imagine going to college to go get a business degree from a professor who don't even have a business. How the fuck you teach me business? You ain't got no business. Moreover, successful business. Now, granted, you when you're going through it, or you've had failed businesses, of course, you can tell people of different roadblocks that they may not want to run into or whatever. But if you had an option to learn from a failing business person or somebody who don't got a business, or learn from somebody who has a multi-million-dollar business and has since created numerous, successful businesses, who would you choose? Probably the person who has made the most and has built the most. So with that being the case, better to just go get a mentor than to sit around and go invest in a school. But that's a conversation for a different time. Perhaps I'll take it for a goddamn podcast. Scarred for life due to the student loans? Not really. I mean, but for me, college was, I really just only went to college to go try to play football, bro. Cameron said, you're a doctor, and honestly, all medical school is just an expensive trade school. Residency is an apprenticeship. That's it. Oh, and question about residency, because a lot of people think you go to medical school, you come out of medical school, immediately you making all this money. If I'm not mistaken, residency is what, 2 to 3 years, and you making like, what was it, like $60,000, $70,000? Maybe less. Like, it's brutal. Like, y'all come out of medical school like $200,000, $300,000 in debt. Y'all making a little bit over average for a small period of time before you finally get acclimated into this salary that'll actually help carry you forward. But at that particular point, a lot of people are purchasing their house, getting their car. You're an anesthesiologist. You made $54K for 4 years. Jesus Christ. As a resident, god damn. It's brutal. I know a couple who I went to church with when I was younger. Said, what's your favorite boob, left or right? Right. But I know a couple who had they finished medical school together. I remember I went to their wedding. They had just finished medical school and they were starting their residency. he was making $64K. I think she was making 67, and they were going to be there for 3 years. Fucking brutal. Cameron, oh, Jesus Christ, $256,000 in student debt, went to LSU. Golly. I would hope they gave you a period of forbearance before you had to start paying them back. Brutal, man. Brutal. And you're stuck in the residency for 4. Like, you're in a spot where if you truly in a situation where you're allowed, or I should say you're able to be frugal, because keep in mind, you can make that 54, but that's gross. They're going to take that large percentage of fucking, well, not large, but technically it's large. It's truly, in my opinion, I think taxation is fucking un-American, but we ain't talking about that right now. They'll take that. Oh, what? Miss GAC, you coming up on that with this PhD? Bruh, brutal, bruh. Brutal. If you're in a spot where you can try to be frugal and you save every dime and you just keep putting all that money towards student loans to eradicate that shit as early as possible, I would implore you to do that. But if you got to start life and you trying to live life, I can't blame you either. But truly, in my opinion, I say fuck them damn loans. Fuck them. Because they got enough money to freaking pay them shits. I refuse to pay them shits. Because what you really going to do? I ain't got the shit in my name. I ain't got no assets in my name. Tell them fuck them. But, hey, I appreciate the fact that you out there. You know, you out there, anesthesia. Hey, that's beautiful, man. I'm happy for you. But tell them I said fuck them loans. Whoa, wait a minute. Life Like Steak said you going to rob a bank, sir. You think you just going to walk in there and rob a bank? By the time you step outside with that fake money, you going to be like,
We are the police. We are the police. The police of Haiti. The police of Haiti.
come on. Ridiculous. Christopher said, you're a firefighter and you make $66K. You're about to go to nursing school soon. Really? Good God. You work like, if I'm not mistaken, firefighters are working 4 days per week. Incredible benefits from what I believe I've been told from one of my friends. He's actually training for the firefighter test right now. He's going to Randall's Island, I think on weekends for trials and stuff like that. But they have good God, 66. Is it depend on your state? I thought they pay more. Jeez Louise. Average Leo Show said, is a degree useless if it doesn't lead to working in that job field? Look at people at the grocery store with a degree. I'll never forget. I went to a McDonald's. This was back in 2016. I'm 2 years out of college. There was somebody in there with a fucking master's degree. Flipping burgers, you got a master's degree. Only reason why I knew they had a master's degree was because they were talking to their coworker about waiting to hear back from different jobs after finishing school. And they were getting ready to go to get their PhD. Every time I tell the story, I talk about them as a PhD, but they had finished their master's, getting ready to go get their PhD. They flipping burgers at McDonald's. Mind you, you just working a job so that you can aid with paying to go to school. But here's where the problem is. There's no other job that you could get part-time. Christopher said you work 10 days a month, 24 hours on, 48 hours off. Okay. So it's spread out like that. Interesting. Because one of my buddies who is a fireman, they had 3 days on, 4 days off, or 4 days on, 3 days off. Like it alternates. That's interesting. And there's a stigma. I don't even know if I should call it a stigma, but they say firemen are always doing push-ups. I'm very curious if you've seen that in your experience. Johnny B. for 5-1 said, you want to talk about screwed on student loan? I have $22K in loans for a school that was a scam. It's no longer even in business anymore. Oh, fuck them loans then. Tell them fuck them loans. How you going to pay back to a school that ain't even in operation no more? Fuck them. Fuck that. You're a victim. You're a victim. Don't pay them shit. Don't pay them shit. Kari said, love, bro. Hey, I love you too. Devon said, it's not going to come quick. Just depends on what you're willing to do to survive while you try and get a good job, correct? It does take time. Definitely does take time. K-Dub, Pateno said, just want to say thank you to you and the whole chat and the cord for the support, man. It's never easy losing a brother, but losing one so suddenly is crap, and I appreciate the support. Much love, man. Hey, man, anything we can do to help, because we've had a number of different people deal with loss here on the channel, on the chat, whatever the case may be, and we're all here for each other. You need somebody to talk to, you can reach out. We'll go back and forth. Hell, Ciara and I was, we had messaged on email when she was, needed a little bit of somebody to talk to, whatever the case may be. So, you always got to just take time to look for a community that got your back, because a lot of times we're in situations where we look around and our immediate friends or family who we've been around for the longest don't really give a fuck what we got going on. And then you meet a stranger who actually seems to be, I don't want to say invested, but actually seems to care about what it is that you got going on. So you just got to lean towards who the fuck gives a fuck about you, So that's very important. DHB said, you're a nurse and did 6 months as an EMT in a firehouse. They do workouts a lot. Well, there it is. Crystal said, we train a lot because most firefighters die from heart-related things, so we work out a lot. Fair enough. Makes sense. That cardiovascular got to be on point. Your Highness said you recently lost your great-grandmother. May she rest in peace. Hey, rest in peace to your great-grandmother. She must have had a great life or a long life. What the Buck said, you'll never stop asking, where's the Calcio Sirico or the Ultimate Tag Pole video? It's been at least a year now. You've been asking for the longest. I told you with the Calcio Sirico one, I don't know if I'm going to do that one. Tack ball, maybe. James said, you're a paramedic. You definitely work out a lot because of the patient we have to lift. That is true. You definitely got to keep that go. Cal Arrow said, is there somewhere I can send your music to? Not trying to promote. I'm just a big fan. Your opinion matters. G. Send it to contact@chiseledadonis.com on the email. Contact@chiseledadonis.com. So there is that. Any medics in the military? Well, there might be some here. Ali said, is there a consensus of students going to trading than college? I would assume that's going to start to shift. That'll definitely start to shift for sure. There's a gnat that just flew near me, but I couldn't find it. But I believe it's going to end up making a shift. But ultimately, there's a great deal of individuals who don't want to do that particular kind of job because of how demanding it may be, which is unfortunate. But that's just the reality of the situation. Mark Jackson, Patuan said, happy 4th. Didn't even know you went live. Notifications is a motherfucker. But I'm working on some things so I could try to get in a situation where everybody can be notified that I'm going live. Manuel said, have I tried the Grimace Shake? No, I have not. In fact, I haven't been to McDonald's in a very long time. Is it McDonald's as the Grimace Shake? Perhaps I should try it, right? So is it a dessert or is it just like a iced, or I should say like a slushed drink? What is the Grimace Shake? Has anybody tried it? Underwater welder, make crazy money. Hell, those people, MP1 said, I got a Discord. Yeah, if you join the Patreon or become a member, you get access to the Discord. I send out a message with a new link maybe every 3 weeks. Last time I sent it was like, what, maybe 2 weeks ago? Oh, an update on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox X. As you guys already know, the PlayStation 5 has been delivered. I'm waiting for the Xbox X. Netstrike said he couldn't get it because he had to pay for the customs, right? And remember what I said, right? Because he said it was bad news because he had to pay for the customs. So, he had to take care of bills first. But remember, I'm a man of my word. I said that you don't have to pay shit for winning the console. I have to be the one who covers the charge. So he sent me the receipt for how much it's going to cost to, go do the pickup. So it's $87.99. It's Canadian, so it converts to Canadian. and I sent that over for the Xbox X, and I believe I sent that on Monday. So I sent that on Monday. As you can see, that Monday that happened to be over there. So if you could pick it up, whether it be today, because I don't know if they celebrate Independence Day, which I don't believe that they would in Canada. So once he gets that video of him opening up said package, I will go ahead and get that out for the people. So because a lot of people are like, did you do the PS5 Xbox X giveaway? I'm like, yeah, I did. Akira P51 said, when am I gonna do the 30 for 30 like 30 and 30 like Tom Grossi? When am I gonna do a 30 and 30 tour? I mean, it was never on my mind to do so, but perhaps I should, huh? Perhaps I should go on a stadium tour across the country. Maybe I should during the NFL season. Maybe not this season, perhaps next. Braylon Patuan said, where are the NFL awards? I added in a Tom Brady segment, so I had to delay it once more. So you have to do what you got to do. What you got to do. Sprite and Grimace. Okay, so raise the. Wait a minute. So what? It's a vanilla milkshake with purple food coloring. Oh, it's a milkshake. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever end up trying that joint. Your Highness said, do I have any closing thoughts on Jalen Green and Josh Christopher debacle? I mean, it's just high school kids having fun, I guess. I've never tried to have that particular kind of fun, but high school kids dancing around or whatever the case is. So there is that. But kind of weird, but it is what it is. I'd highly doubt that he's going to go and address it, which I don't think that he should. But overall, this generation's a little interesting. So there's that. That's my take on that. And last but not least, let's see here. Whoa. Paul Pierce. No, we're not doing that. Come on now. Oh, Simply Deep in the building. What's going on, man? How's it going? I just so happy you happen to catch me late in the evening. So there's that. MP1 said your city put a curfew for fireworks this year. We love to see it. Oh wow, funny enough, it's actually, what time is it? It's 12:30. Jesus Christ. What's going on? I haven't heard any fireworks in 30 minutes. This is good. But Speed Game says, got a question. What are some ways to stay motivated and stay disciplined? Every time I start something like working out or other stuff, I find myself back doing nothing. You have to hold yourself accountable, and you have to set a punishment. So the way that you do that is, and I stated this earlier, you start with something small. So as it pertains to working out, you just tell yourself, I'm going to do this, and I can hear fireworks now. You tell yourself, I'm going to do this little thing every single day, and if I don't do it, well, I don't sleep. Other ways you can do stuff is you can tell yourself, I'm going to try to do this, and if I don't, I can't do this, and you actually hold yourself to it. So whatever it is that you enjoy doing, like a hobby or something, if you tell yourself, all right, I'm going to do this kind of work or whatever the case is, whenever you don't do that work, you cut out that hobby. And yeah, Cameron, I said that word for word earlier. Motivation is bullshit. Discipline is everything. Like legitimately. You just have to truly discipline yourself and say, all right, hey, I said I wasn't going to be scrolling on Instagram frivolously. And now you're 3 hours in scrolling. All right, cool. Now uninstall the app on your phone. What? No, uninstall the app on your phone. But what am I going to uninstall the app on your phone? You said you weren't going to be doing this. Now you're doing this. So what's the penalty? You have to set a penalty, right? And then you have to pretty much mentally tell yourself, hey, if I don't do this, then I can't do this. So you just take something away. What are you willing to give up to go up? What are you willing to sacrifice to reach your paradise? You got to give something up, right? So that's ultimately what it is. That's truly ultimately what it is. Ali said, "Do I believe in God? If so, which faith makes sense? Just curious." You know what's interesting is I grew up Baptist, right? Like my parents had me in the church every single week. And I've always believed in a higher power. I don't necessarily believe there is multiple per se. I think with all of the religions it's just different variations of one, but I'm somewhat of a, what's the terminology? A deist? It's not atheist, but a deist per se, where I believe in a higher power, not necessarily religion, because I don't think it makes sense to not believe that there is no higher power just because of there's some things that you just cannot explain. But I do think religions and the rules and things of that nature is more parables to where it's principles that are being taught in the books, not all actual fact. But I believe in a higher power, but I'm not very religious per se. I look at the Bible more of like it's all stories that you can read to give perspective on a lot of different things. So I don't know what that would be, what it would be called. It's a deist. I'm somewhat of a deist or something of that nature. Like I'm not attached to any particular kind of religion because I grew up very 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 Baptist, but then I was one of those kids who always asked a bunch of questions because I never understood how you can say there's a just and jealous God. I don't think those two can be said in the same sentence. I think that's very contradictory. But overall, I understand the principle behind a lot of the different things. And it all comes down to faith, truly, with any religion. And that's why, although I look at astrology, for the people who look at astrology and say, oh, well, I shape my personality because I was born at this time of the month. I think that's foolish. But I do admire the sheer faith in what transpires there because it's the exact same faith that exists within religion. So I think that's an element that exists there. I'm not going to say that I don't have faith in that particular case because I do believe that there is indeed a higher power. But with prayer and all of this other stuff, I just, for me, I haven't, maybe I haven't had my epiphany moment, but that's kind of where I am there. But I've never been somebody who's so warped in my own thought to where I'm not interested in having dialogue or doing research or seeing things for myself. I've always been open to that kind of stuff. So there is that. My favorite movie is Tombstone. K34 said my top 5 movie franchises. Oh, good God. I really enjoyed Transformers despite the fact that they fell off. But all things MCU. So Avengers, I don't know if that counts. Do I pray consistently? No, but there's been isolated moments in which I've prayed when something bad has transpired. So since that's the case, I can't necessarily try to claim prayer, but I have in the past. But top movie franchise. That's a tough one. Black Freakazoid said, how effective can self-punishment be when you know you're the one giving out the punishment? I'm guessing it depends on the person. You can either have a accountability partner who gives out the punishment for you, or the self-punishment, you got to be committed to the self-punishment. Like, for example, if you say, hey, I don't want to go along the lines of self-harm, but if you say your self-punishment is you can't spend any money or some shit like that, you got to hold yourself to it. Because the only person who hears 100% of the lies you tell is you. Right? So you have to develop a bit of shame that exists. Favorite animal? Funny enough, and I talked about this before, I don't really care too much of a I don't care too much for animals or whatever the case may be. So I don't have a favorite at all. But with self-discipline, you have to develop a bit of shame. If you say you're gonna do some shit and you just deliberately don't do it, you have to be pissed off with yourself that you didn't go and do it. Like that's something that has to be developed. That has to be something that has to be developed. Brett said you're not really religious, but sometimes you get scared what happens when you die. Advice. I can't give you advice for that. I can't give you advice for that because ultimately the afterlife, whatever's there is there. So it's one of those situations. Now if you, I think this is my own selfish situation, but I think better to believe there is something in the afterlife and then find out there isn't than to not believe there is something and then find out there is. But nevertheless, I'm not gonna, whichever one you want to particularly believe in, that's your own. That's your own prerogative, but I don't have a strong stance on it. Like I'm not one of those individuals who's going to be somewhat of an evangelist to try to convert. I don't have that strong of a stance on it. So whenever somebody tells me where they stand on it, I say, okay. Like some people are like, man, you gotta stand on some shit. But I don't have a stance to stand on at this stage of my life. So since that's the case, there's nothing else that can mess around and do so. Christopher said, next time I'm in Atlanta, let you know, you'll give me a tour for some fire stations. Funny enough, I was initially supposed to be going to Atlanta in a couple of days, but I couldn't get the confirmation I needed to go out there for what it was that I was going to go out there for. So ultimately, I'm going to, switch that time to go to Virginia. But I will be in Atlanta again for Mr. GH2's wedding. I'm going to go out there in September. September of this year. I'm going to be out there, and then I envision myself most likely being in Atlanta again later on in the year. But I'll definitely keep you guys posted when that transpires. Retro Pafavon said there are 2,500 prophecies in the Bible. 2,000 of them already happened. Trust me, we are going through biblical times right now. Well, what do you know? What do you know? I don't know the validity of all that, but there are definitely a lot of things that have since transpired there that has happened, so you're certainly not wrong. Hoodie Zay said, have I caught up on One Piece? In the anime, yes, I watched it yesterday. Big Mama is heading towards the center of the universe, so we shall see how that all plays out. Hunk said, did I get an invite to KSI's charity football match? No. I did not. Funny enough, the Detroit Urban Survival Training guy sent me a message for some flag football game that just went down this past weekend in SoFi Stadium. And he said, hey, you could pop out and network with a couple of people. But it was so short notice. Like, he sent me a message on, I think it was Thursday. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, so you participating in this game? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so when's the game? It's on Saturday. Saturday? What fam? Tell me this shit in advance. I'm unavailable. So there is that. Big East Blue Dude said Flatbush Ave sound like a Ukraine deli. What's going on? Oh, Jesus Christ, it's bad over there, ain't it? Bad. Brutal over there. What's going on over there? But it does increase your survivability. Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys tuning into the stream. It is approaching 1 o'clock, so it is time for me to go to sleep because Lord knows early in the morning I got to hit the goddamn gym. But my last question that I will go and answer, the average Leo show said, do I think it's better to grow up poor or rich based on for work mentality? Here's the thing. For work, and I should say for experience above all else, despite the fact that being poor builds a shit ton of character, let's be honest, as adults, when we look back towards our childhood, a lot of us have a bit of resentment at first until you make peace with things, because there was a lot of experiences that we may have wanted to experience that we didn't get a chance to do because we were poor, and the window has since closed on that. It's different if you're poor and you're always in poor environments, so you don't know what is out there. So you just appreciated everything that you got. It's another thing if you were poor, but somehow you still had small bits of exposure to middle class and upper class activities. That right there is what really builds that resentment that existed. So I'll always lean more towards saying growing up rich. But the caveat with growing up rich is there's an entitlement that is since created and a delusion of how things operate because you've never lived without. Therefore, you can't fathom what life is like without. There's an old quote that said, "Those who are born in peace will never understand those who are born in war, and those who are born in war will never understand those who are born in peace," because you're coming from two different realities. But as it pertains to building work, the individual who's poor, who has now tasted what it's like to be rich or around rich, will do everything in their power to get that feeling, versus the person who's rich, who has experienced something that is poor, will do everything in their power to avoid going in that direction. So really, to answer the question, it's a hit and miss. But me personally, I would have much rather grew up rich because there's a shit ton of experiences that I did not get a chance to partake in because I just did not. I didn't grow up poor. I was in the upper lower class per se. But there is that. Truly, because a lot of times, and I think I saw a video earlier when I think it was from Jubilee. They did one of those, and I didn't even see the whole thing. I saw a clip. But when I think about like privilege is something that is earned. You have to earn the privilege. It's not just like somebody had to work in order for somebody to get privilege or whatever, right? And really think about the kind of lives that not only that we want to live, but you want to have for your offspring. I think it's very foolish that the internet tries to shame people who grew up with like a silver spoon or whatever, because really think about it. Wouldn't you want your offsprings to have that person's kind of life? Not to say to have entire entitlement or something of that nature, but wouldn't you want to be in a position that you could give your children whatever the fuck it is that they want? Not to say that you're going to give them everything, but I think it's foolish. Like, of course this person is going to, you've worked your way to get to a particular spot, and you're going to do everything you can to put somebody in a better spot. Why would I want you to go through the same struggles that I went through? That's foolish. That's selfish. That's dumb. I'm not saying give your offspring, a fast pass through life, but having the wealth, having the resources, creating the privilege gives them options. That's just like it doesn't make sense to me. Like, okay, you poor. Do you like being poor? Nah, I hate being poor. So what's the alternative? Not be poor. And then ultimately, when you're not poor, you look at life like, man, there's so much more I can do. You have to look at the poor days or the individuals who are poor and appreciate those times because it built the character, but then you leave that in the rear view because you don't want to go back there. That's just my 2 cents. Money doesn't buy happiness, but poverty doesn't buy you anything. But, ladies and gentlemen, I have been your host, founder, and chairman of this July 4th version of Ask Me Anything, AMA. It is I, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. Save your questions for the next time that we do indeed go live, most likely either this weekend live from Virginia or perhaps next week during the week, and we can touch on a number of different things. But got a couple of projects that will be coming out. You will be notified momentarily. I shouldn't say momentarily, but very soon. But yeah, I will keep you guys posted on things moving forward. I appreciate you guys rocking with me this long. Yeah, shit, we average about like 300 through and through the entire time. You gotta love to see that. But which part of Virginia? That's a good question. What part of Virginia is? It's gonna be like the Crystal City. How is that supposed to explain the goddamn answer? What location it is? It's foolish. Arlington. I'm gonna be in Arlington, Virginia, for BlurredCon. So if you guys are gonna be out there, I look forward to running into you guys. But if not, well, I shall see you next week. One way or another, I shall catch you guys on the next stream. Stay tuned tomorrow with my video regarding Adam 22 and his wife, Leonard the Plug. Eddie, take us out. Y'all have yourselves a good night.
Good night. Suck my dick. Bye-bye.